Hi, my dear students. First of all, I welcome you to my online class. Today, we are going to learn second part of the poem A Legend of Northland. A Legend of Northland. We already discussed half part. Then today, we are going to take the remaining part. All students, please take page number 66 and stanza 3. Page 66, stanza 3. You all take. Before starting our class, we can recall our previous class. A Legend of Northland is actually a story about Saint Peter and a little woman. That little woman made cakes. Saint Peter came to her door while he was traveling around the earth. He was an apostle of Christ. He was almost tired due to fasting. Then he asked her a single cake, only a single cake. She made a very little or very small cake. That much we finished last class. Today we are going to remaining part of the poem A Legend of Northland. Page 66, stanza 3. Let's read. Then she took a tiny scrap of dough and rolled it flat and baked it in as a wafer, but she couldn't part with that. Tiny scrap. Tiny means very small. Scrap means piece. Dough means kneaded flour. Then wafer. Wafer means small, thin, round bread. Round, small bread. Part with means give away. Then she took a tiny scrap of dough. That means a small piece of flour, kneaded flour. Rolled it and flat. Then she baked it as a thin, as a wafer, small bread type she made as. But she couldn't part with that. She couldn't give it to him as a charity or as free. She is very greedy girl, greedy lady. Next stanza. For she said, my cakes that seem too small when I eat of them myself are yet too large to give away. So she put them on the shelf. She said, that lady said that my cakes that seem too small, very small when I eat that myself. Then that lady herself eats that is very small. Are too large to give away? She put them on a shelf. She seems that she feels that it is very large or too large when it give others. That means as a free, as a charity. That means she is very greedy girl. She wanted to save some flour. Her mind didn't allow to give that to that Saint Peter. So she put them on the shelf. She kept that on the shelf. Next stanza. Then good Saint Peter grew angry, for he was hungry and faint. As surely such a woman was enough to provoke a sign. The good Saint Peter grew angry. That Saint got angry. For he was hungry and faint. He was very tired due to, we already discussed, due to round or moving around. Surely such a woman, that lady was enough to provoke. Provoke means make angry. That means now Saint Peter was too much angry. Next stanza. And he said, "You are far too selfish to dwell in a human form, to have both food and shelter and fire to keep you warm." He said, St. Peter said, "You are too selfish. You didn't deserve to dwell." Dwell means to live in a human form and the shape of human. That means you didn't deserve to live like a human. To have both the food and shelter. You have food and shelter and fire to keep you warm. That means you lead a comfort life. You didn't deserve that. You didn't deserve that to live like this. That Saint Peter said this one. Next stanza. "Now you shall build as the birds do, and shall get your scanty food by boring and boring and boring all the day in hard dry wood." Now Saint Peter cursed her. "Now you shall build as the birds do." You just change it like a bird and you build as the birds do, and shall get your scanty food. Then you get your scanty. Scanty means very little food. By boring, how? By boring, boring and boring. Boring means make hole. Boring and boring all day in hard dry wood. In a dry wood, you just bore. Try to get a little food. Then next stanza. Then up she went through the chimney, never speaking a word, and out of the top flew a woodpecker, for she was changed to a bird. Then up she went, then she just went up through the chimney. That's the chimney side. Never speaking a word, he never talked. Out of the top, then she reached top and flew as woodpecker. Woodpecker, do you know? Just she changed it as a woodpecker, for she was changed to a bird. That Saint Peter cursed her, and she changed as a woodpecker. Next stanza. She had a scarlet cap on her head, and that was left the same, but all the rest of her clothes were burned black as a coal in the flame. She had a scarlet. Scarlet means bright red cap in her head, and that was left the same. That was not touched. But all the rest of her clothes were burned. All her clothes were burned black as a coal in the flame, as a coal type. That means now she is very black. All her dress burned. Next stanza. And every country schoolboy has seen her in the wood where she lived in the trees till very day, boring and boring for food. And every country schoolboy, all schoolboys have seen her in the wood. All boys, students, they could see her in the wood, in the tree. Where, what her duty there? She live in the tree till very day. Very day means even today. She live even today there in the tree. How boring for food. Let's make a whole boring for food. Now every students see that. Here the poem, A Legend of Northland, is really a story. Legend is a story, a folk tale. This is a story of Saint Peter and a little woman. That lady is very greedy. Then when we learn this poem, What is the moral of the poem or morality of the story? What is the morality? Selfishness after an extent becomes a sin. That is the message of the story. Let me stop here. I hope you all got idea about a legend of Northland. Thank you. Have a nice day.